Hello there, you guys, and welcome back to this Old Masters for Young Players series. Yay! So today we're looking at a really beautiful piece called Sarabanda, which is by Giuseppe Tartini, who lived from 1692 to 1770. And if you remember what was going on during that time in the world, please let me know. Comment below. I would be interested to know what you remember. Or if you were alive during that time, please also comment. So you might remember from our previous sarabands that we've done that the saraband has a stronger beat too. It also used to be, apparently, according to the Peters edition of the Bach cello suites, a rather sensual dance. But now it's much more stately. Like it has a much kind of morphed into a more stately, dignified dance as time progressed. So I'm going to play it for you. We're going to look at the second half today, and then we'll take a look at the second half. We're going to look at the first half today. We'll look at the second half next week. But before we get started, I just want to tell you that whether you're on Patreon or on YouTube, I want you to know that there's a bunch of things going on over on Patreon this month. So there's 4 group classes and group events that you can attend. One is the amazing guest artist class. So the guest artist class is with a guest artist teacher that I invite to come and work with us every month. So we'll be switching it up. You know, sometimes we have a performing artist, sometimes we have a history professor, sometimes we have a specialist in a specific kind of genre or style, and sometimes we have like a non-music related guest artist, which is kind of fun as well. So anyway, that's over on Patreon in the Take the Cake tier. There's also 2 hours of group classes. You can bring this to one of the group classes, have a little practice time with us. I usually plan a little lesson for the first half though, so I will take you down the rabbit hole with whatever it is that I'm finding interesting musically, and we'll do a little mini class, and then bring this and have some time to practice along with us. So the violin viola group classes are every other Thursday evening at 7:30. And then lastly, the last Friday of the month is our virtual studio circle, which is our time to just get together as a musical community, a music bubble, and just provide a little positive practice performance space. There we go. And whether you are a beginner, an intermediate, an advanced, you have your degree in music, it's just a time to practice putting yourself in the spotlight with a really kind community that is there to support you while you are vulnerable. Whether you play something that's polished or something that's a work in progress, or you just want to practice getting out of your comfort zone and say hello, whatever it is, we're there for you. So that's all over on the Patreon page, the Violin Viola Masterclass Patreon page. So now let's take a look at this first half of the Sarabanda. So a little bit of the repeat. You guys, this is so beautiful. I wanted to give you a little time to practice doing some shifts here and there. But before we talk about the shifts, bowings. I'm starting this on an up bow so that the strong beat, which is beat 2 in a saraband, can be on the down bow. So I'll leave it up to you what you'd like to do, but up, down, I think works really nice. And that way you can do this little tiny lift, elegant lift in between. Versus if I start on a down bow. You can do it too, but the up bow's a little weaker than the down bow. So I'll leave it up to you. I just wanted to show that as an option. We're also piano, and we're closer to the fingerboard for that beautiful, subtle, wavery kind of vague sound over the fingerboard. The second time when you do the repeat, try and shake it up, maybe play a little bit quieter, pianissimo. That way you really lure people in because they've heard it before. But if you're like, oh, now it's really special with pianissimo, it makes it extra special. So some fingerings. Let's take a look at the first fingering, which is in line 3. We're going from first position to second position. And I know we all love second position so much, but actually it's a really helpful position, you guys. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go from first finger, B flat, and then you're gonna shift a whole step to D with second finger, half step to E flat, and whole step to F. You can use this little basic hand pattern, and then you also know where your other fingers go because we have 2 flats. So outline your hand pattern for the key. And with practice, you might need to practice it like this. Right? And then with time, you'll be able to kind of get it. When you're shifting, you always shift on the finger that you're on to take you to the finger that you need. So you wouldn't shift like this. Because I'm going to fourth finger, but I wouldn't shift on the fourth finger. I'm shifting on the first finger. All right, so little tip with shifting. There's also a finger replacement shift. So that next measure, we're in second position. I'm going to replace it with my third finger. How many times in a row can we get that? So what you're going to do is use your arm to pull back a whole step. Your arm is the one that's always doing the shifts, but it's really clear on this one. So it's not a reaching back with the fingers. You actually literally need to move the arm back, and we're moving it back a whole step from D with your second finger, so that your second finger is then on C, so that then third finger can go to D. Let's see if there's any other one little word about the trill at the end. So in line 4, we have this polka retard trill. And sometimes with trills, you can start from the note. In this case, I'm starting above it, because I'm coming from above it, and it's also at a cadence and an arrival point, and I just feel like it sounds beautiful. It's on a retard. There's lots of time to add that little extra neighbor note to just add to the trill. And also with trills, I'm very guilty of this, but trills don't need to be super fast. They can be just nice and slow, actually. Let me demonstrate. It doesn't necessarily match the vibe. All of a sudden, oh my gosh, there's all this energy, right? What if you kind of take it a little easier? So I'll let you kind of play around with that. I hope this was interesting and fun. I hope you're inspired to practice this one this week. And I will see you guys next time where we look at the second half. There's lots of fingerings in the second half we're going to look at. And don't forget that this is supposed to be played with piano. So go befriend a pianist. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you all very soon.